Welcome, welcome, and welcome once again. Welcome to the Sonya Dungee podcast, episode 154, sponsored by Always Destined for Greatness LLC. I am your host, Sonya Dungee, where a conversation is always the essence of the soul. And yes, of course, we are still bringing the heat to the IG, Facebook, and YouTube streets. I am so excited for tonight. I mean, so excited, like it could not get here fast enough because boy, oh boy, do we have a very special guest coming in tonight. I'm so excited and honored that she accepted the invitation to be here. And we had such a great conversation, but we're going to hold off and we're going to talk about that in a minute or two. So, please, please, please let me know where you are tuning in from tonight. And those of you who are watching the replay, I know why you're watching the replay because the Knicks are playing tonight. I got that. My daughter called up and told me, so I know, but it's all good. It's all good. If you can't watch us live, I know that you will be watching the replay and you are here in the moment in spirit with us all. So thank you for that as well. I'm going to be popping back and forth to see the comments that are being left. I don't want to leave anybody out ever. And on all platforms, I'm learning how to do that now. And so I'm doing that. Let me just turn this down. Okay, so I can see everything tonight. I promise you, no comments will go unnoticed. That is for sure. See one moment. All right, just want to make sure we're streaming live here because I see we got this. Okay, yes, we are on all platforms. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So again, if you didn't hear before, please let me know where you are tuning in from tonight. So before we get started, I see some new people, so thank you so much for joining. I so appreciate you as well. Just let us know where you are tuning in from, please. Also, what else do I want to say? Okay. Also, if you receive value, please let us know by putting in the comments value. If you had an aha moment, please tell us as well. If you can relate, we'd like to know that too. And if there's anyone who you think might like to or benefit from hearing us speak tonight, please let them know, drop them a line, tell them to come on and join, please. We always welcome new guests as well. And for those of you who are wondering who I am and what I'm about, let me just turn this down a minute. I would like to introduce you to myself as well as sharing a little bit of my story. So, as you know, my name is Sonya Dungee. I am a transformation coach also. The reason why I am so excited and I am sitting in front of you today in my 154th episode is because of the story in which I'm about to tell you. So my story began on Saturday, January the 23rd at exactly 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the VA hospital in Northport, New York, where I sat on the side of my father, holding his left hand. And in that moment, I watched a tear roll down his cheek. I saw him take his last breath here on this earth and his first breath in heaven. And as a result of that, of course, I was screaming, I was crying. I didn't want him to go. It was in the midst of the pandemic. Things was really tough. We couldn't go visit our loved ones as we normally would do. And I had family that was outside watching on a Zoom that my daughter so graciously agreed to do. I mean, some of you might wonder, a Zoom, why would you do that when you know that you're watching your dad is going to take his last breath? But the reason was because of the height of the pandemic, they only allowed 2 people in the room at one time. My daughter was one that was Zooming, and my son agreed that he would go and be the second person. I thought I had said my see you laters to my dad earlier in that morning, and but the doctors called me back. So we had the rest of our immediate family that was in New York and could get there fast enough outside in the frigid 0-degree temperature of January 23rd. And the rest of our family was spread out across the United States as well as in Sweden. And that was a way where everybody could say their last goodbyes. So as a result, I spiraled out of control immediately. I went into a dark place. I lost a tremendous amount of weight quickly. I was isolated. I didn't realize what I was really doing. I thought that I was saving my family from that extra grief, because if I truly told them how I was feeling, I felt like they would grieve even more. And my children were having a very hard time um, with my dad's passing because it was totally unexpected. So because of that, and my sister lived in Florida, so I didn't think she would see or know. And my other sister was in Sweden, and I had a sister that didn't live far from me, but I didn't see her often. So I thought I was doing a really good job of keeping it to myself. I was running back and forth to the cemetery. Um, I was just stuck. I was broken, and I remained that way for 342 days stuck. I was coming out of my bedroom, walking across the living room into my shishi room, and doing my 6.5, 7.5 hour tour, my job, whatever I was assigned for that day, turning back around, walking back across the living room into my bedroom, shutting the door, and there I remained till the next day. I had a bathroom, so I had no reason to come out. It wasn't until I just couldn't do it anymore, because I just couldn't feel like that hamster or that gerbil that spins around and around and doesn't do anything but goes around and around. That was me. I was stuck there. And when I realized I couldn't do it anymore, I had 3 young grandchildren at the time. I'm blessed I have 4 now, but I had 3 then. I wasn't spending any time with them. I wasn't going to family events. I just didn't want to do anything. And when enough was enough, and I mean enough, I made a conscious decision and I took action. And as a direct result of that, my life forever changed. Today, I am a transformation coach as well as a podcaster, and I help those that are struggling in hardship and grief and life challenges go from suffering and feeling stuck and broken with no direction, no end in sight, just as I did, to become unstuck and resilient with an attitude of expectation and of excellence, achieving economic independence so that they can be destined to walk purposefully in their God given purpose. And this is the reason why I get so excited. This is the reason why I smile the way that I do, because my mission is to help thousands. But tonight, if between myself and our special guest that's about to come on, if we're able to touch one person tonight, well, that means we did a very good job in doing so. Because if I had someone to turn to, then I wouldn't have been stuck for as long as I did. But I didn't know where to go. I had no direction. I didn't know what podcasts were available. I didn't know anything. And when you don't know, you don't know. So, with that being said, this is the reason why, like I said, I do what I do. And we are now at episode 154. So, without further ado, I want to, sorry, without further ado, I would really and truly like to sorry, bring up our special guest. But before I do that, I would like to edify her properly. And in doing so, our coach, our special guest, Coach Dawn Thurland, is a life and empowerment coach with nearly 2 decades of experience, helping women and caregivers refuel, reclaim their joy, and rise with intention. She is the founder of Della Dawn Life Coaching and soon to be published author of Forgiving Forward From Wounds to Willingness, a daughter in law's journey of grace. As the Women into Networking Community ambassador, for the Florida chapter, Chosen to Win. She's dedicated to uplifting and empowering women through her heartfelt coaching, downloadable rejuvenation starter kit, and budding YouTube channel, Empowered Journeys with Dawn. She's on a mission to create safe, soulful spaces where women can heal, grow, and thrive one courageous step at a time. Excuse me, but I'm so excited I could barely get through it. So, with further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Coach Dawn Thurland. Coach,
Hi.
are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi. How are you? Oh, Sonia, I really appreciate you having me on your platform. This is such an honor, and I really appreciate you. And my goodness, I can't stop grinning. I'm super excited about this, and I'm really honored because you are amazing. You're the super encourager. You know that I've always called you that. So the great encourager. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation because I've been watching and I've just been patiently waiting for my turn. I could really get through the edification. I was like tripping on my words because I was like, let me hurry up, let me get her. I can't wait. Let me tell you, there are certain people that gravitate towards me, and I've shared this before, and it's not everybody, but there are certain people that I it's hard to explain. They kind of float and gravitate before me, like come towards me. And when I first laid eyes on you, and let's just share, we were both in a master class together, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then when you started sharing and talking, and I was like, oh my goodness, relate, value, yes, And so, I mean, come on now. We are just amping these people up. But before we get started, let me jump over because I see that this is going here. We have several people have joined. Oh yeah, you are loved. Yes. And there's some things that I'm going to let you talk about. And I'm getting hello, the Bronx loves you. Welcome, Coach Dawn
Oh,
Thurland. Yes, ma'am. Exciting night. Lovely ladies. Yes. Keep it coming. Keep it
thank
coming. We
you.
want to reach. So, and let me just pop over this way. I don't want to. Okay, wait a minute. Uh, where are we? Okay, what we got going on in this comments over here? Pretty much the same. Okay, so yes, so the reason why I asked you to join us tonight is because you have a powerful testimony, an incredible story. We could truly relate to one another as we spoke today about that as well. So I want to thank you once again, and now I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. Okay. So besides this little piece of what I shared, who is Coach Dawn Thurland exactly?
Oof. Well, Coach Dawn Thurland is basically your your sister with coach, a coaching toolkit because I have gone through the ups and downs of life. I've listen. I've helped women, and like you said, I've helped women, I've helped caregivers, I've, the ones that are juggling with so many things up in the air and losing themselves all at the same time. Just like you said, you wish that you had a person like you when you were going through your time. So I have always been that safe place and that lighthouse for people, and I've loved it. I mean, if you when you get the opportunity, because you will get the opportunity to meet my family. I come from a long line of women like that. So I'm just embodying all of them because that's what we do. We help people, even if we're in the middle of our own pain. But because I have that, and because I've gone through so much, I've also, you talked about my book that my publisher called me tonight, and I'm going to pre-sale tonight. And she's going to put
Yes,
the link in there. It's called
girl, she
Forgiving.
got it
Yes,
there.
it's
She
called
got it there.
Forgiving
That's what I
Forward.
was
I'm so stoked. I really am. It's called Forgiving Forward. This book was really a hard one for me. And once everybody get an opportunity to read it, because it was the hardest relationship I had to deal with to be able to forgive. So yes, with that, I'm trying to give you my little nutshell who I am. So I've lived with the ups and downs, and I've carried a lot of pain, but I also know how to come out of the pain, and I know how to let it go. So I'm here to help those who have felt that or are feeling that, and wrap my arms around them and say, I got you, and let's do this together, and let's rise together. So that's me in a
yes,
nutshell.
yes. Okay, let me just go back 1 second. And because I don't want anybody to think that I invited you here knowing that, you were going to promote your book, like, oh, I'm going to have her on so she can promote her book. Let me tell you
No.
guys, this is how God works in mysterious ways. Okay.
Mhm.
This is why I say it all day, every day, Proverbs 3, 5, 6. Okay. Because
Mhm.
when Dawn and I spoke earlier today, is she had told me that about the phone call that she received today. Was it today or was it okay?
Today.
Yes. When we
Yes.
spoke,
Hmm.
it was today. So
Yes.
prior to today, she didn't know this. It just so happens that it worked out this way. And I'm so grateful that it did, because she can talk to you guys about that, because I'm
Yes.
excited for her. And I got so many things. And I'm not one that scripts my podcast. I might write notes, I might read certain things, but I don't say, I don't ask a question, you give me an answer. Question, answer. I personally, it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't.
Right.
People do
Right.
that and it's great for them. No shade. But for me personally, I can't do that. So in that I was saying, we're just gonna, talk, and we're both saying that we're just gonna let God direct us. We're the vessels, and it's just going to move the way that it wants to move, and
Yes.
and it's already moving, and it was before we even got started, and 20 minutes in, look where we are.
Yes.
We have some comments. They're saying thank you so much for what you do, ladies. Two terrific and powerful coaches. One chat, and let me tell you, your publicist is moving and shaking, because she's already put it in here about your pre-orders, guys. Please, I'm gonna have to also put it on. Well, do I make sure that you put it on your Facebook, because right now it's she's on the one
Okay.
platform, and that's
Okay.
fine. So I just want to make sure that we get it throughout. They're saying welcome, Miss Dawn Thurland,
Thank
live from
you.
Florida. Um, Hi, Queen. Oh my goodness. Her chosen story got it going on. I'm gonna tell you this.
Let me
Sanford,
let me
Florida, support my business
let
buddy
me
Dawn.
yes. Let me tell you something about that young lady right there.
Okay.
She is incredible. I know you mentioned that I'm part of the Win community, and our chapter is called Chosen to Win. And she's the leader, and I'm the ambassador of our Florida chapter. And she is one day you have to hear her story. Her story is incredible, and she's one of those types of individuals that I call her the midwife, because just in the short time of knowing her, she's pulled so much out of me. she's pulled all of my, like, she's like, girl, no, we're going to do this. Just like you were talking to me today about my thing. So yes, I'm so grateful. She's such a huge supporter of mine. And I always have to give her props too, because she's amazing. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I truly believe in that. As a community, we're here to support and uplift one another. And, we had this amazing, it was almost like we had a podcast earlier today.
Yes,
We were
we
supposed to be
did.
a quick conversation. It was like, I was supposed to be a podcast, girl. But
Yes.
yeah, so thank you for that. That you recognize those that do support you in your community as well. And so I want to start breaking a couple things down here.
Okay.
Let's see. So when you okay, your book that you wrote, and it's going to obviously it's going to drop, the information is going to drop where they can pre-order tonight. Forgiving Forward: From Wounds to Willingness, a Daughter-in-Law's Journey of Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Could you care to elaborate on that? What is the intent behind the book? What motivated you to write it?
Okay. Well, it'll get deeper into the book, but my mother-in-law, who right now we're caring for, but my husband and I have been married for 18 years, and she's never liked me. And I didn't understand why. She never elaborated. There was no reason why. And being the person that I am, even though she never liked me, I've never been disrespectful to her or anything like that. I always loved on her. When she would call my husband, they're like best friends. They are best friends. That's her only baby. So I encourage those phone calls. Call, speak every day. This is when she was in St. Croix. They called several times a day. And I would even send encouraging messages to her when she's going through things and things like that. Fast forward to 3 years ago, we got a phone call to saying that she had a really bad stroke. And immediately I knew, okay, we need to have her over here in Florida because she was in St. Croix. So we need to have her here because she can get better care here. But this is what I said in my head, because I'm like, okay, for 18 years, this woman never liked me, never knew why. So what I can do to support my husband is I'll do like the business side, the things that need to put her business in order, her things in order, so she doesn't have to worry about anything, and my husband doesn't have to worry about anything, and he can just love on his mother and love her back to health. That's where I stood. I said, I'm gonna do that for him, right? But God had other things to say to me. He's like, no, ma'am, you're going to do a little bit more than that. So I fought like a little kid, and you'll see what I said in the book. I fought like a kid that was being sent to their room. I'm like, no, God, you didn't see what was happening here. So he said, I want you to pray for her. So I did, like, the little blanket prayer. Okay, God, just heal her from head to toe, that kind of thing, right? I prayed. It was sincere, but that was it. Then as I started to continue to pray for her, he started to show me things about her. He also revealed to me why she didn't like me. And it was based off of a picture. She was dating someone at the time that my husband and I got married, right? So my husband sent her a picture of us. And he's thinking, okay, she's not think this is, she's seeing her, she calls us son papito. So, when she saw it, I looked like the ex-wife of the person that she was dating at the time. So her anger was transferred to me. I guess she felt safe doing it. I don't know. And it became really wicked. It was really bad. And I'm not going to get into details here. I got into a little bit, but I wanted to focus more on how God transformed, because this was all God, nothing to do with Dawn. It was everything to do with God, but it was me slowly allowing him to reshape my heart so that I could start seeing her as a woman and start seeing her as a hurt woman. He started showing me her pain. So then I knew how to strategically start praying for her. So I said, okay, well, now I got the praying part. So I'm good. I got the praying part down pat. I see her better now. I'm starting to forgive her because now I understand where it came from, because I didn't understand before. I'm like, you don't even know me, So that was cool. I thought that was it. It wasn't it. So I was like, what else, God? Because I thought
Lord.
what else, Then he started having me really intercede. He started telling me the different things that she needed, the difference for her healing. It has gotten so deep that he's now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a worship leader. Well, when I was in church, I'm a worship leader. So I sing, but I've stopped singing for a long time. I felt like I lost my voice. And there's an incident that happened with her when she was in surgery while she was here. I put this in the book, and she actually, I'm going to let you guys see that in the surgery. Anyway, to make a long story short,
Okay.
because I mean, when you read the book, I want you to see that part because it
Well,
was very
I was
powerful.
like, don't tell
I
us
know.
everything.
I'm going to let you guys read
I
that
was
in the
like,
book, but
don't
this is what I will say. This is what I will say. He's given my voice back, and he's having me sing over her and sing to her so that her healing and my healing can be completed. That's
Oh my,
basically a
wow.
quick little nutshell of what the book is about, but it really focuses on how strong, well, first of all, how much God wants us to forgive. And forgiving in some situations could be a lot of situations could be extremely hard. And we're not supposed to do it alone. We're supposed to have him do it because it's an internal work. But I wanted my freedom as well. And I wanted her freedom once I found out what was going on with her. I mean, honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought I forgave her because I didn't have to deal with her. So I'm like, until this happened to her. And now she's still in a nursing home, but the way we see her every single day, and she's doing really well now. She's healing now. The woman's trying to get out of bed. And we get phone calls and pictures of her at night because she's trying to get off the bed because she's trying, but she's also healing. And now she asks for me. She asks
Wow.
specifically for me. And when she talks about me, she tells people like, my daughter-in-law is beautiful, and that kind of stuff. So that is the quick little nutshell. But for you guys to get the other stuff, I want you to buy the
Aw,
book. Yeah, yeah,
girl.
yeah. It's
Wow.
been a journey.
Okay. First, first, I forgot to tell everybody not only to grab pens and paper for notes, but tissues, just in case, because I might have forgot to tell you and remind myself to put the onions away. So I'm holding some of these onion residues behind because that was impactful and that was so powerful. And here I am thinking when you started to talk, it's like, oh, well, if your husband and your mother-in-law are like best of friends, she just didn't like you because you were in the way of her being best friends with her son.
Right,
That's what my mentality was telling me. And then
right,
there you go layering it. And then I'm saying, don't tell it all, but tell me later, but don't tell everybody now. I'm still gonna get the book.
right,
Oh, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out later, but you guys can find out when you read the book. But
right,
but
right.
wow, that was really, really like so impactful, and you're such a blessing, and that just reassured everything that I already know about you. And also you shared things that I didn't know about you, but it takes a certain type of individual, you know, a God-fearing, faithful servant to be able to do that, to carry out God's will, because that seemed to be quite challenging, but you did it, and now look, you're best friends with her too,
Yeah,
like she's on, like that's my daughter-in-law,
yeah,
and she's beautiful. Oh,
yeah.
and I can honestly say I know she's grateful for everything that you have done, regardless of the shield that she had when it came to you penetrating, into her heart, into her wall. But I
Yeah.
applaud you at the same time, and girl, just keep doing what you're doing because
Well,
people people need to consider the day that Proverbs 3, 5, 6, God leads us down this path for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes we want to kick and scream and we don't want to do things, but it just reassures you that if you're
Yeah.
God fearing and if you listen to what God says, and you allow him to use you as that vessel, that you can overcome and you can thrive and you can empower others that are struggling in those
Yeah.
same instances where you hear stories all the time about the in-laws and and that daughter-in-law or the son-in-law,
Ooh,
and there's that wall and they can't penetrate
yeah.
through it, and they
Hey, you're
these
breaking
other
up. Okay.
ugly things come through, the spiritual warfare, hits hard,
Mm,
and sometimes we don't go against it. He means business. We don't
yeah.
go against and what God tells us to do. There's times when I do it, and then after I do it, I realize the reason why I was told or shown that I
Yeah.
needed to do that.
Yeah.
I could have been that person who just stayed stuck in my grief
Right. Right.
and it's always me, my dad went to Lord and why did he and still I didn't do drugs, but statistics that prove that when you're stuck, whether it's in grief or hardship or life challenges, that it can physically take you out. And I
Oof.
really don't talk
Yes.
about it
Yes.
often enough, but there's a percentage of people who never got to God purpose, allowing the spiritual warfare and allowing themselves to get stuck and
Hmm.
not try to move forward and take action and just give up like, oh well, it's supposed to be this way, whatever happens,
Yeah.
and it's not, it's negative, it doesn't end well. And
Yeah.
you've gone through things in life, you've overcome those, and then you've had obstacles along the way, but you've able to overcome those, and you're sitting in front of us as a life and enrichment, and now to a soon to be published author,
Yeah.
and God bless you in your marriage of
Thank you.
18 years, and some people can't get through a year,
Yeah.
and was that your husband that you were talking to earlier before we started?
Yes. No, wait, wait. No, wait. That was at the door. That was my daughter that was at the door. She was telling me that because she left my grandbaby's here, so she wanted to let me know she's getting ready to leave. I was like, okay, okay, love you.
Okay,
Bye.
because I
Be
was like,
careful.
oh, okay, but
No, he's at home.
from uh, but I mean, you have the support, you have the love of your family, and obviously you share that in the beginning where it's just you guys do what you have to do, and that family support is part of community, and that's everything because not everybody has that,
Yeah.
and that's when I tell people that be careful of the people that you surround yourself with. I mean,
Yes.
you have to make sure that you are in a community of supportive,
Yeah. Yeah.
uplifting, positive, non judgmental
Yes.
people. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your family, but that support you, okay? Not judgmentally, but will call you out on the BS,
Yes.
okay? And will hold you accountable.
Yes.
And word to the wise, if you're
Hmm.
listening, whether now or on the replay, and that doesn't sound like the community that you have, well, I strongly suggest that you might demote and then promote
Right.
where it needs to be. So
100%.
that's real important. So Yes. So I'm glad we were able to talk about that as well. And I'm still looking
Yeah.
here. Okay. So, if you will, would you tell us about WIN, Women in Networking Community? How did you become an ambassador?
Well, again, that phenomenal young lady that's in the chat, Clavia Ellen, she was at a networking event and she connected with some powerful women, and they told her about the community, which is, women in networking, which we empower women entrepreneurs and the men that support them, just like we were talking about. And what we do is we lock arms. I mean, there's there's publishers in this community. There's um, fitness trainers in this community. There's wine entrepreneurs in this community. There's all types of things in women in this community that's doing big things, and we support each other and we network with one another. We build each other. There's social media gurus in there. This community is all over the world, actually. And the young lady who is
Wow.
in Atlanta that created this whole community, um, she saw the shine in Clavia and asked her to be the leader in Florida. And same thing with Clavia. She saw the shine in me and asked me to be the ambassador. So we're going to have our first mixer, if you don't mind me sharing that, but we're going to have our first business mixer. It's called
Please.
Chosen. Yes, thank you. Chosen to Win mixer is going to be on June 7th, that we're going to have here. So we're super excited about that because we'll be able to bring people together and network and have fun, and even people that don't have businesses yet, we can pour into them and love on them, and like you said, bring the right types of people around, and we can be those right types of people to pull things. Because listen, every single one of us was born with a purpose, right? And just like we were talking earlier about how God has created us to have relationships. It's not always just romantic. It's community with different types of individuals that he put in your life for a reason. Just like Clavia has been the midwife for me, as well as our other coach, Darren Walker, who is phenomenal. We'll talk about him. They
Yes.
pull out those
Yes.
gifts,
Yes.
so we also are those people that pour into people and pull out the gifts. So if we are around one another, we do things together and network together and build each other. um, that's what we're about. So we're starting our chapter here, and our first event is June 7th. So Win Community is amazing. It has so many things. I mean, I know that I didn't even touch a tiny 10% of what that community does, but it's I'm grateful to be a part of that community as well as community with you. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, that was phenomenal, and I heard about when I actually come to think of it now. I was a part of, well, I guess I still am. I not guess I am. We, which is women empowerment, but that's through my telecommunication company that I work for,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we. It was so empowering to just be around those women, But fortunately, because of the pandemic, we now work from home, so we weren't able to have those meetings. But I'm going to look into that.
Mm.
So thank you. So that
Oh
just
yeah.
sparked something in me as
Yeah.
well. In reading some of these comments, we have that they can relate. I love that. COVID caused such division. We need human connection. Absolutely. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. We absolutely, positively
Yeah.
do. It's actually part of our DNA.
Yeah.
What else do we have in here? Clavia, God bless you.
Mm-hmm.
We have some couple. See, most uh, beautifully said about both of your healings in need of healing. There are some twists and turns on those roads. Absolutely. Yes, there
Oh
is
yeah.
value. So people are getting value. So thank you so much for
Awesome.
that. We got
Yeah.
relatability here tonight. Thank you so much for that as well. Now, the next thing is tell us about your downloadable rejuvenation starter kit.
Starting.
I want to know about that.
Okay, so
But we all
what I
do.
Yeah. One of the things that I discovered while taking care of, well, helping to be one of the caregivers for my mother-in-law, I've noticed that the caregivers don't have anybody. We're wearing ourselves out. There's no safe place to talk. There's no, there's no place to get rejuvenated. There's no place for that. So when I noticed that there was a gap between you being a caregiver and then you being able to take care of yourselves because you can and you should, I wanted to be that person because I told you I'm about empowerment. I'm about helping when and seeing where there's a gap. I'm there. So I created a rejuvenation kit. So I'm going to start doing workshops, and that's going to be part of my. The workshop is for them to download the rejuvenation kit, and we're going to go through this whole workshop of how it's important. I'm going to allow or have an open space and a safe space for them to share their stories, non-judgment zone, because you do go through feeling guilty for not wanting to sometimes be there. Like, I don't want to do this. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't even know this was going to happen. Even though we know it happens, we didn't sign up for it. So I want to create that space for them. So that's what my rejuvenation kit is for caregivers. I'm also creating one for moms. So I'm and forgiveness. I'm going to start doing that because we all need to rejuvenate and self-love and self-care and get ourselves together so that we can't pour out of an empty cup. We're supposed to pour from the overflow. And if we don't even have anything in what are we pouring from? And we end up disappearing from that. And I know there's a lot of people saying, well, how do I find time? You can find time. If you can go to the bathroom, that's where you find your time. Because it could be found. I had to do that because I had to do it. I had to do it because there were times when, and even though my mother-in-law is in a nursing home, we don't really, even when we leave there, we're not leaving there and not doing anything. There's a lot of things that we have to take care of to make sure she's good and she's safe. And we have to really, it's been a journey. That's another thing that we're going to do together, my husband and I, write something about that. But yeah, so that's what my rejuvenation kit is about, is for those caregivers that don't have anybody and don't have a voice. So I'm going to actually start marketing that to nursing homes, and speaking to the family members and the loved ones that come to come and visit their loved ones there.
Girl, where were you when I needed you? I can
I know, baby.
totally relate to that.
Yeah.
I can tell you stories that I can't even begin to tell you right now, or even stories I can't even talk about it on social media. That's how.
Right.
Prior to the pandemic, before my mom passed on, because let me tell you something. I never realized what really transpired in those nursing homes. I'm talking about let me start on the positive with the socialization with those
Yes.
residents, honey.
Yes.
They are booed up in there like no tomorrow. I said, wait a minute. Hold up. You mean to tell me I gotta come into a nursing home to get myself, man? What's going on here? My mother was telling me about her man, and then like I didn't really know the extent of it, but girl, they were supposed to get married. That she had her little beaded, the little hand beaded. She had an engagement ring.
Oh, wait a minute.
Everybody was there. I said, wait a minute, what did I walk into? And I thought it was the most funniest thing. I said to myself, Mom, where the heck do you think you're gonna get married? You can't even take care of yourself. What's up with this here? But they were all pulled up. I was checking them out, and I'm like,
that's funny. That is funny. Oh my God, how
but
cute.
on a different note, like prior to the pandemic, it was like I would go there all times of the day, the night. They never knew when I was coming. I told them, don't touch my mother's clothes. I'll wash them because they would send them in all fairness to get washed. They sent out and they didn't always come back, or things missing, or different patients had each other's clothes, and yeah. But I'm being as politically correct as I can say. God bless you. But where were you when I needed that downloadable? Okay, I needed that downloadable then. So
Yeah.
yes, that is something that will really help families, whether they're in a nursing home situation and they're dealing with that, because it's a lot of dealing, a lot of phone calls up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. My mother would
Yes.
call, Sonia, I need you to call. They're not doing this. I can't get out of the
Yeah.
bed. It's not fair. Everybody's at church. I'm still in bed. Sometimes it was funny, but sometimes,
Yeah.
they go back to being children. So you gotta, there's that line where
Yes.
you gotta, I'd be like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, here goes my mother again. What does she want now? But now I would do anything. I would give anything for her to call
Yeah.
me again. But the stories,
Yeah.
but that's another
Yeah.
thing. Yes, we're supposed to pour from the overflow. Girl, they're coming in. You got your homegirl. She's on the other social media now, making sure. Thank you so much. She said, so proud of you, Queen. You're doing great, Dawn.
Yeah.
Yes, I see. She's very supportive. God bless you for that. Flavia. Is her name Clavia?
It's Clevia.
Is that right
Clevia.
to say it that way?
Hmm.
Is that
Clevia.
Clavia? God bless you.
Hmm.
You are that support. Clavia?
Yes.
Clavia, you are that supportive community. So God bless you and thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for joining tonight. We really appreciate you, as well as everybody else who has joined us, whether you are live or you watch the replay. I thank you so much for your comments. They mean the world to me, and I know they mean the world to Dawn as well. My sister's in there with her. Law, I told you she was excited about you coming on
I
tonight
love
as
her.
well.
I love you,
Uh,
Dawn.
let's see. You definitely on a mission to create safe and
Yeah.
soulful space where women can heal, grow, and thrive. I see that 100%. One courageous step at a time. And I'm about that one step at a time. So, oh my goodness,
Yes.
we have so many
So
similarities.
much.
Yes.
So much.
So, I know. Like, I can talk to you all night long, but I want to respect everybody's time. And like I said, where did the time go? It seems like we just started and it's
I
almost
know.
it's wow, it's almost coming to an end. I'm like, no, we're definitely would like to have you back again. Once you start touring for your book, we'd love to support you in any way that we can. So before we talk about that, I would just like to ask you this question as I ask all of my guests.
Mhm.
Um, would you please finish this phrase? What would you say? Always be destined for blank.
Hmm. Always be destined to walk in your truth.
Yes.
Don't forget
Yes.
about what you're here for. And if you need to find that, you need to find God and let him, because
Yes.
just like me, I mean, you a lot of times you're already walking in it, but there's also times that he has certain periods of your life that he wants you to do something else, a different assignment. So always walk in your truth that happens to be in alignment with his truth.
Amen. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I really don't have to ask the next question because you kind of said it, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So, what would be some advice that you would give to somebody who's watching right now, that feels stuck,
Mm.
whether it's in grief, whether it's in life challenges, whether it's in hardship? Um, what would you say to somebody that's watching that wants to move forward? What would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I want to let them know is that you're not alone. You're not alone. And don't allow yourself to go into isolation, because that's exactly where the enemy wants you to be, so he can mess with your mind. If you can find someone that you trust and that you can talk to about whatever you're feeling, that doesn't give any judgment to you, and that could be someone that you know, and it can also be someone that's professional. Find that person, because when your mind is clouded and you can't see in front of you, you won't make the right decisions because there's no clarity there. everything is in the way because it's right there in front of you. You won't be able to see it, the light. So try your best to push yourself to find someone to talk to get yourself in that, in a safe environment. I'll just say that because I understand that isolation place. It turns into depression and it gets so dark and so deep. You don't want to get to a point where you become hopeless, because when you become hopeless, the light goes out. You have too much to give to this world. There's too many people waiting for you, and nobody has time for the light to go out. We need you to shine, because that's why God has put you here, to be his vessel. So that's what I say. Find safe places to talk to someone, for you to have no judgment. I hope that helps.
Girl, thank you so much for that. I couldn't have stated better than what you said, and I felt like you were talking to that Sonya 4 years plus ago, when I was in that very place and I didn't have someone in front of me to speak life into me when I was in my darkest place. So thank you so much for that. And if anyone is watching tonight or watching the replay, and if you feel stuck, know that you're not alone. There's studies that have been done, and 75% of people honestly have stated that they feel stuck. And when I say that, there's people, of course, that aren't there yet to even admit it. And there's some who really don't realize that that's what's happening because they're in a denial and they don't realize that. So
Right.
I want to thank you so very much.
Oh,
And
thank you.
before we go, how can people find you through the various social media platforms?
Okay, well, on Instagram, I'm under Coach Dawn Thurland. Facebook, I'm under Dawn Thurland. And I will be very soon starting my YouTube page. It's called Empowering Journeys with Dawn. I'm also on Clubhouse. I was talking to you about that today, and my room is in the Win community, but it's also, you can check it out before joining Win. And my room is called Empower Her Vibes, Real Talk, Real Growth. And that's going to be starting June 3rd, every other Tuesday at 12:30.
Wow. Girl, you are really doing it. You are doing it. You are doing it. And just do me a favor. When you post, especially on the one platform where we can still collab, just include me as a collaborator so that
Okay,
it will share through to my social media as well. And then from the other platforms where we can't collab, I will share that. Okay.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
I want to thank you so very much for joining. You have enlightened, you have empowered, you have uplifted us tonight, myself included. So I want to thank you so much. You are such a delight.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and this is not going to be the very last time that we see you on the Sonya Dungee podcast. I promise you. But I
Awesome.
can be a mini stalker. So, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
A
much, Sonia.
loving one.
That's fine. I'll take
You're welcome.
it.
Okay. Thank you so much again. Um, so I want to ask you to stay right where you are, just so we can
Okay.
talk to my audience about a couple of things. So we have a few things that are coming up, and for those of you that are watching tonight, I have something special for all of you. The next boss masterclass that I've been telling everybody, save the date, save the date, save the date, is going to be Wednesday, June the 4th at 7 p.m., which is always just before the Sonya Dungee podcast. So we can finish our masterclass and go right into the Sonya Dungee podcast. And because all of you are watching, I am going to drop the link for all of you tonight, right afterwards. I promise you. So in two platforms, I will go into the comments and drop the link. So make sure that you register, okay? Because our intent is to give you 5 steps to go from stuck to living a purposeful life Okay, because we need to thrive more than anything in 2025 and become resilient. But we can't be resilient if we don't do the steps first that to get us to become resilient in 2025. So that is my gift for all of you as well. And because you're watching tonight, I will give each and every one of you, and I know who you are, 30 minutes of a heart to heart with Sonya. And we can sit side by side on Zoom or off of social media, and we can have that one on one. And I will help you to develop a life blueprint in order for you to be on your way to thrive in 2025. I have that for you as well. Also, this coming Monday, Memorial Day, 1 o'clock, we are going to do a Memorial Day tribute. So if there's anybody specifically that you would like to name in memory of, please DM me and I'll make sure to include them as well. So we got a lot going on. And lastly, as always, Big Sis is coming up right after me, Stay Sexy Wellness podcast. And I'm excited for her because she's going to have a special guest as well, Miss Moana Yee. So please, if you can jump over and join her at 9. And last, also, I do have a YouTube channel which is called the Sonya Dungee Podcast. If you can go and you can subscribe, like, and share, I'd appreciate that as well. Because the whole point is we want to get out there and we want to be able to reach those that are in need of assistance in moving forward. They want to, they're ready for forward progression one day at a time. So, with that being said, thank you all so much. Again, thank you again, Coach Dawn Thurland, for coming on with us and hanging out and sharing your story and everything about this upcoming book that I'm so excited about. And with that being said, be safe, stay well. God bless you all. And remember, be always destined for greatness, your very best, not to be compared with anyone else. Until I see you guys again, probably it popped up before and then again on Memorial Day. Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Oh, wait a second before we go. We got some yeses. We got some more value. Beautiful life story. Miss, we don't want to forget anybody. You're talking my kind of talk. I love the elderly and the nursing homes. The elderly done so much for us. Yes, and we need to be there for them.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining. A very inspiring podcast tonight, Miss Sonya. God bless you too, Queen. Amen. Oh my goodness, it's still coming in. Great job. Wonderful and needed combo. Chosen to win. Thanks, Sonya, that you will drop the link for the masterclass. Absolutely. We got awesome. Thank you. Thank you for following me. I see that. I see that. God bless you all. Okay. Gotta go. Big Sis is coming. Talk to you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye.